Hey, looks like we're up and running. Hello, everybody. Oh shit, that's not what I want to do. I want to share. It's trying to get me to unsubscribe to the ALR channel. Okay, happy days. So, welcome. Last week we had champion confirmed in Sam. So this is going to be his kind of lap of honor tonight as the new Tier 3 champion. Absolutely insane pace over these last few weeks, especially the races that have been held in 2025. Winning 5 in a row, I think it is. And yeah, lapping quicker than tier one's quickest, to be honest with you. So yeah, I feel a bit sorry for the rest of these tier 3 guys because they have had the arses well and truly handed to them this season. Oop, accidentally pressed start. Let's go through the grid anyway and see who we've got on the grid for this final race of the season. Full grid as usual, which we love to see in ALR. We got Gunmad lining up in last place. It looks like the AMG struggled a little bit around here. He is not usually last. He's usually in the top 10. So a bit surprising to see him all the way down there. Nath lining up in P15 in the Alpha. Then we got the other AMG of Yuri in 14th and Nectar in the other Alfa Romeo in 13th. So the Alphas not enjoying their time around Deep Forest either. And we got Jezza in P10 in the Lamborghini Huracan, and Cherry, a bit of a worse qualifying for him, down in 11th. Same for Wack in the GTR. These two have been pretty good in qualifying lately. Impressive in qualifying is Pasty in the top 10 again. Captain Eli with an improved qualifying. He struggled outside the top 10 for a couple of rounds, I think, if memory serves me right. Fancy Locks up in P7, out qualifying Wack again. And Spin in 6th place in the Lamborghini, so pulling a pretty decent lap out for Spin. This is much improved from previous weeks as well. Sam in 5th place in the Lexus. Usually he's on pole, but you know, he's won the championship. We can let him off with a P5. Hurricane in 4th place with the Gen X, which looks incredibly quick round here in the practice races that we were doing. Very difficult to get past, and yeah, could just power past people on both the pit straight and the back straight. Ethan up in P3, another really good qualifying for him in the Ferrari, which should be fast starting compared to the front row, which is a lockout for the team that are trying to win the Constructors' Championship, Team Porsche, which is Astro and P2 and Anonyma up on pole position. So they've got a good advantage over the Lexus boys in qualifying at least. And yeah, they could take a big step to winning this Constructors' Championship if they can convert this 1-2 in the sprint race. Good evening, everyone joining. So, let's get started, shall we? We've got 11 laps here around Deep Forest. It's the reverse layout, which we haven't been to for about, I think, 2 years, to be honest, in ALR. We usually race on the normal layout, which I think people prefer overall. Anyway, let's get this race started. 5 lights on, and the final race of season 16 is underway. There's a false starter at the back. That's Yuri, and Nectar as well false started. It looks like Ethan got a fantastic start already up into P1. Hurricane is overtaking Astro as well. Astro down into 4th place on a very long run down into turn 1. Sam is trying to get past as well. Looks like he has. It's all huge number of cars bunched up together in the run down to turn 1. And there's a lot of different closing speeds there. Let's see if everyone actually makes it around. It actually looks like they have. So everyone survives, and it is Hurricane now who is leading. So let's see what happened in the run down to turn 1. He gets an absolutely great start, already past the Porsches. He's got Anonyma, who's just given up there, and Ethan, is he going to be a little bit careful into the corner here? Actually, Hurricane gets bumped from behind. Ethan does really well to avoid it. Anonymous going to take that position. Ethan gives Hurricane a little bump up as well, and now we're going to have a double slipstream effect here as Sam is getting in on the action as well. Got 3 wide exiting the tunnel as we approach the braking zone for the next corner, which is very easy to get wrong and go a little bit deep. and it looks like everyone's being a bit careful. Ethan very careful, lost both of those positions, now has Astro on his tail as well. Let's ride on board with Ethan. Looks like he's lost 3 positions in 2 corners there after being in first place heading into turn 1. Hurricane in P1, Sam second, Anonyma third, Astro fourth, and Ethan is 5th at the moment. So another typical great start for the Lexus driver, our champion Sam. How is Cherry? As Cherry dropped to the back, something's happened to Cherry. Oh dear. Oh no. So what's happening? Spin's coming out of the exit. Eli's pretty slow on the exit. Gets a little bump from Wack up the hill. Spin's going to try and get alongside it. He does have to completely get off the throttle there, and squeezes Eli a little bit into the wall. Cherry into the other wall as well. Spin carries on. Bit of a carnage going on there. Now we've got Nath and Spin having a little scrap. Now, something happened to Eli even earlier. Okay, let's go find it. Well, you're an 8th at the moment, not the worst. So let's have a look from Eli's in this run down at turn 1. It was pretty crazy. It looks like the Porsche in front, Anonyma, actually gives Hurricane that bump, which allows him to overtake Ethan and get all the way up into second. Good little first corner from Eli there. So let's go forward, because he drops down on that corner where he hit the wall a little bit there in the tunnel, and then we're going to see a little squeeze from Spin into the barriers here. Well, into the wall, actually, the tunnel. And Eli gets away with that pretty alright, actually. Keeps P8, and now he's got Wack up in 9th place. Yuri's, despite the false start, is up in 10th as well. Then we got Spin trying to recover from that little incident. He's trying to get past Nath here. Nath up in P11, so a good start for Nath as well from the back of the grid. And then Nectar, Gunmad and Jezza pretty much where they started as well. So let's see what Spin could do. He's got the overspeed on Nath. Nath has a bit of a quicker car, probably going up this hill though. The slipstream is in full effect for the Lambo. They're both lifting quite a lot to make sure they make the corner. Is it gonna work? Jezza going for it on Gunmad as well. Jezza looks like he won that one. And Spin gets a very good exit. He's got a bit of slipstream as well. He's going to get that move done. Up into P11. 1 position away from P10 now. And that crucial reverse grip pull for race 2. Nathan's going to try and come back at him though. And he goes deep, and the same as what happened to Eli by the looks of things in turn 1. He's lost a huge number of positions, down to 15th and completely out of contention now. Yuri's struggling a little bit through the tunnel, coming under a bit of pressure from Spin as well. Remember, Spin qualified up in P6, so he's got the pace today. A little bit further up, Astro's going for it versus Ethan. Ethan dropped to 5th, remember, and looks like he's lost that position now. Fancy Locks and Eli in Pasty as well, looking to take advantage of this. Pasty's absolutely going for it. Oh, he can't get the move just yet. Ethan gives him plenty of space, and he gets alongside on the exit. Now it's a drag race up the hill. We've got 4 cars all jostling for position here for this battle for P5, including both Ferraris and the Gen X leading the pack. Fancy Locks in there as well. Really close fighting by all of them, and it looks like Pasty has headed off. Oh, Wax in there now as well. We've got a huge gaggle of cars. Then a little bit further up, we've actually got a battle for P2. Anonyma looks like he's challenging Sam. Might fancy a go through this tunnel section. Let's ride on board with Anonyma and see what he does with this opportunity. Sam's going incredibly defensive. Anonyma's going to potentially try the switch back. Sam brakes very late, nearly collects Hurricane, avoids it, makes the corner as well, and keeps the position, but is out of shape for the next corner. But Anonyma has to lift massively. Sam keeps P2. And we've got Astro in here looking for a position as well, potentially on his teammate. So a lot of battling going on, but Hurricane's still not too far ahead. going through this midfield section, which doesn't favour the Genesis as much as it does these other cars in the top 4 battle. Sam's got a good run out of this corner. Let's see what the Lotus can do versus the Gen X up this hill. So end of lap 3, pretty much over a quarter of the way into the race. Still got a lot of battling to go, and it's not looking comfortable for Hurricane at this point. Sam is looking for win number 6 in a row. And Hurricane goes incredibly defensive into turn 1. Sam is going to try and go the long way around, and Hurricane doesn't give him any space, so he wasn't really entitled to it anyway. But he is starting to get alongside Hurricane now, and riding on board with Anonyma. He's right in there as well, so any of these could be leading in the exit of the next corner. Anonyma really backs out of it. Sam's going for it on Hurricane, gets his nose ahead, but Hurricane's got the inside line and shows him the door, and that means Sam has lost out to Anonyma now as well, as Anonyma takes a much cleaner corner and takes that position really smoothly there. So a good bit of overtaking from Anonyma. A little bit of a dodgy corner there, but keeps the traction. Now Sam nearly loses it as well on the exit. Very easy to spin your car in these corners. And again for Sam, he's not looking comfortable. Something's happened a bit further down. It's like Eli and Fancy Locks. Oh, Eli's just completely got off track there. Another corner where there isn't that much grip, and now he's going to get overtaken by Wack as well. Wack up into P8, and all these drivers in the top 9 are incredibly close together right now, in the top 10 actually, and then there's quite a gap down to Gunmad in P11. So really clean driving so far from these guys. You love to see it. Really good quality and caliber of driving. Now Hurricane dips a toe on the grass. Who's going to be braver into the braking zone? Hurricane goes defensive again, and now Anonyma's going to get the switchback done and gets a great exit. Hurricane struggling to get on the traction. He's going to have to try and slot into Anonymous slipstream and have another go. It does have the overspeed at the top end of this Genesis, so it should be able to be comfortably ahead by the braking zone, but he's going to have to do it around the outside. And Anonyma keeps that corner very well. Very good driving there from Anonyma to keep P1 after initially gaining it on the previous corner. Beautiful overtake. A little bit further down, Sam's got a 2.5 penalty, and Astro's trying to get past Ethan as well. Astro's going for it. Ethan keeps the position. That Ferrari's been incredibly strong this season, so I think it settles the debate of if the Ferrari is a good pick or not for ALR. Ethan's gone for it on Sam. Sam was a little bit out of shape again, and Ethan takes the position. Astro takes the position. Sam is going to slot actually ahead of Astro with his 2.5 penalty that he's going to be serving fairly soon. He's going to lose 4, 5, 6 positions potentially here, because the whole of the top 10 are incredibly close. That's why Sam is going for it on Ethan. He needs to try and get as much of an advantage as he can before he serves this penalty. He's back up into P3. And he goes wide, and he's losing positions anyway. This is the driver, the driver of the champion. When I had a race to spare, when I won my championship, I also was terrible in that race. So Sam's down to 10th. Fortunately for him, he slots into the gap between Yuri and Gunmad. So at the moment, he's on reverse grid pole, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But I have a feeling, with so many laps to go, we're going to see him finish a little bit higher than 10th. Very uncharacteristic mistakes there from Sam this season. Fancy Lock's putting a lot of pressure on Pasty now. Really fancies that position. GTR, one of those cars that's considered one of the best in the game. Pretty much good everywhere. Genesis, good in certain tracks. This is definitely one of them. And Pasty is defending pretty well. 2 Gen X's in the top 5. Fancy Lock's getting a better exit there. but now it's the drag race that he's going to lose, especially because Pasti has a little bit of slipstream. It's like Anonyma and Hurricane have built a little bit of a gap, and now it's just a battle between 3rd down to 9th that we are keeping an eye on right now. So it's a good defending there from Pasti. Fancy Locks wasn't able to do anything to get that position. You got Whack and Eli lurking in the background as well. What's going on in this battle further up? Hurricane is trying his best to stick with Anonyma. Anonyma has just set the fastest lap of the race though, a 25.7, about 7/10 quicker than Hurricane. Oh no! Oh, and Pasti's got wide as well! What's happened here? Right on board with Ethan. He's not under any sort of pressure. Let's see what's happened from Pasti, because Pasti seems to go off and follow, well, basically follow him off the track here a little bit. So, oh, right, I see. Pasti brakes too late. Oh, Fancy Locks is waiting as well, so is he involved in this? Fancy bumps Pasti into Ethan, and that is gonna just promote Whack from nowhere to 4th. Eli's up into 5th. Pasti is back on track and up into 6th. Yuri's in 7th. Fancy's rejoined in 8th, just ahead of Ethan, and they are now battling pretty closely with Sam. Ethan with loads of damage as well, so he's going to have to try really hard to avoid getting overtaken until that damage disappears. And yeah, Ethan's damage is gone. Fancy's having a go at Yuri. Yuri up into 7th now. And it's... oh, great exit from the AMG there. Keeps the traction really well. And Fancy just has to slot in behind for now. A little bit further up, looks like Whack is under a little bit of pressure from Captain Eli. Eli's not been in the top 5 for quite a while this season. He is capable of some really good results, but not done as well as Ethan, I think it's fair to say, in the Ferrari. And a little bit wide into that corner as well. Is Pasti going to be able to get it? No, he's a little bit too far back after his incident in the previous lap. Yuri gets bumped out of the corner by Fancy Locks, who was taking a lot more speed through turn 1. Good slipstream here. You know the AMG isn't the best at the top end as well, so Fancy, no, it's not quite, the straight's just not quite long enough for Fancy to take advantage. Yuri takes that corner a little bit poorly. I thought Fancy might have been able to go up along the inside there, but he can't quite do it. So Yuri versus Fancy is going to rumble on. Oh, Fancy's given himself a 2.5 penalty. That's on the uphill section, the little zigzag that you have to do. You have to just lift a little bit going up that corner, and yeah, 2.5 is going to be really bad for Fancy with Ethan and Sam lurking just behind. A little bit further up, Wax created a bit of a gap to Eli. Astro's pretty close to Hurricane now, so Hurricane's had yeah, a lap in the 27s. He must have had a little bit of a mistake on that previous lap, because it is a fair bit slower than Astro. Astro's caught up, and he might be in with a shout of getting that P2 back. It was a Porsche 1-2 in qualifying. It's 1-3 at the moment, because we know the Porsches have the worst starts. And then let's see what's happening with Fancy. He's lost a bit of traction coming out of the corner as well. It's going to be even slower, and there is the 2 positions lost for Fancy. Astro still close to Hurricane, can't do anything there, but is taking that corner much better. Hurricane driving very defensively at the moment, costing him a bit of time, and it's keeping Astro right on his tail. Ooh, thought he was going for it there. It's a nice livery on the Porsches, by the way. Quite like that. So yeah, Hurricane driving pretty well through that infield section, which is not the easiest for the Gen X to do compared to some of these other cars. Doesn't get the best exit. Astro incredibly close now, is going to be taking full advantage of the slipstream. Lapping in the mid-26s now. and he has to lift. He can't really, he's not feeling brave enough to get alongside as we go into turn 1. Hurricane going defensive as well. Astro's going to try and get alongside. He can't go the long way round. Oh, he is going the long way round, and he's absolutely nailed that. Hurricane not able to get on the power quite as confidently as Astro there. Astro taking the position. Hurricane's coming back on him now. Oh, is Astro going to defend? Hurricane's trying to find a way through. He can't find the way through. Astro has to nail this apex. Hurricane was trying the switchback. Took a little bit too much speed off of the brakes. Well, yeah, off of his car in the braking zone, and negated the switchback attempt. But Astro in P2, Anonyma in P1. We've got a Porsche 1-2. That is pretty solid driving by the Porsche. I think it is actually the better car around Deep Forest. So they've done their homework and picked a good car for this, and it might reward them with the Constructors' Championship for the season, because it's not going too well for Team Lexus. We've got Sam down in 9th, stuck behind Yuri at the moment. So that's just 2 points for Team Lexus, because Cherry, well, he was down in 16th, he's recovered to 14th. He's got Nectar and Spin who are having a little scrap. And oh dear. Oh, that's why he's got his name, lads. Right, we're on the final lap anyway with Anonyma. Anonyma's just completely cruised. Astro looks like he's already gapping Hurricane pretty nicely. Eli's up in P4, which is going to be his best result of the season. Wack has just had a quiet race and has found himself in 5th. Pasty's got a half-second penalty to serve right at the start of this straight, so we'll see what happens between him and Ethan. We've also got Yuri and Sam having a battle here. So what is our champion going to do? It looks like he's already ahead of Yuri, and he's got the inside line for the next corner. So it's pretty much a done and dusted move at this point. And then Pasty and Ethan are having a nice little scrap. Ethan gets a much better exit out of the corner, gets that position, P6 on the final lap. Sam ahead of Yuri and Fancy. Looks like Fancy, with his penalty that he had to serve, has dropped himself into reverse grid pole. But let's ride on board with Anonyma, who's had anything but an anonymous race, because he's been in P1, he lost it at the start, regained it, and had a fantastic result here. So congrats to Anonyma and Astro for a Porsche 1-2 finish. Nice to see Hurricane back on the podium again. Really strong result in the Gen X. Then Eli with his strongest result for well over a month, I reckon, in P4. Wack in 5th place. Ethan and Pasty 6th and 7th. Sam 8th. Yuri 9th. And Fancy Locks on reverse grid pole. Then we've got Gunmad just missing out in 11th. Cherry recovered to 12th in the end, ahead of Nectar and Nath. And then we have the two Lambos right at the back. Jezza rounding the corner. He's going to take P15 here. And then we've got Spinny way further back, just approaching the final corner now. And that is going to round out the grid for the feature race, so let's go find it. Replays. There we go. Okay, let's have a quick look at the tire situation. Some people might be trying medium soft, by the way, which would be exciting. I'm not sure if it was tried in Tier 3. I know it was tried in Tier 1 and 2. We've got Yuri on the softs, so he'll be looking to overtake Fancy very early on and start to build a gap. Interesting. So I'm guessing that's a 2-stop for Yuri. Sam starting on the mediums. Softs for Pasty, hards for Ethan. So we've got a huge mix of tyres here. If Fancy can keep them all behind, then that is going to favour the hard runners massively. Eli on the mediums, as is Hurricane. Anonyma on the mediums as well. Nectar and Nath and Jezza and Spin all on the mediums. So we have a huge mix of softs, mediums and hards. So let's get this cracking. We got 28 laps, around about 40 minutes coming up of this feature race. Reverse grid of the top 10 from the sprint. So we got Fancy Locks on pole, looking to win again. He won the first race in Tier 2 that he, the first round in Tier 2 that he competed in. And Yuri's going to try and get past him. Remember, Yuri's on the softs, Fancy's on the hards. Sam, but just behind, is on the mediums. So Fancy has the disadvantage here. It looks like he's going to be taking turn 1 just fine. Sam's trying to go around the outside. Pasty on his soft tyres is trying to get in the action as well. So not just Yuri in the top 4 trying to make progress, but Pasty as well on these softs. He's going to have a huge advantage in this braking zone coming up if you can get close enough to Sam to try and move. And we've got Yuri as well thinking about it on Fancy Locks. Let's see. He's not going to try. Look how much better on the brakes he is. And he's going to do it round the outside instead. That is a great overtake there from Yuri. Is he going to be able to hold it? Don't go in the wall. And he gets bumped as well from behind. Oh, disaster, disaster. Right, let's go back and watch from Pasty's point of view. Pasty trying to get past Sam here. Sam, just like Fancy, going defensive. Sam's on the medium, so he's got more traction to play with than Fancy Locks just ahead. And now we're going to see who's going to make that contact with Yuri. It's Sam, and then Pasty makes contact as well. Pasty gets some damage. Ethan gets past him fairly easily. Yuri now trying to hold on to P2 for dear life. It looks like Fancy on his hard tyres is going to finish this first lap still in P1, which is phenomenal. Sam just about clinging on to P3. Ethan on his hards is in 4th. Oh no, Yuri's got a pen. On his soft tyres, he's got a penalty. He's going to fall so far back, getting that penalty so early in the race as well. Pasty's just got past Ethan. Oh, yeah, not wasting any time there. Quite a good move, actually. A little bit argy-bargy, but... Whoa, Astro goes deep, and he's off the track a little bit, and he's going to lose that position to Hurricane. He gets a huge bump draft from his teammate Anonyma, and that punishes Anonyma with an overtake by Cherry, who's looking to score some good feature race points to end off the season. So let's stick with these guys, because they're all incredibly close together. Nice and careful there from Anonyma, braking very early. Gone around the outside of Cherry and took that place back beautifully. We saw something similar in the previous race. And then Yuri has slotted back in P6. He's got Whack chasing him down with the overspeed on the hard tyres. Yuri's got the softs and the inside line. Yuri should realistically keep this position. Whack struggling. Ethan struggling just ahead as well. And someone went into the wall. Who was that? Was it Astro? I heard some clatter with the wall here. It looks like a little battle between Astro and Hurricane. So one of these is going in the wall. Oh dear. Oh, it's so easy to happen. So Anonyma in P10, just behind this battle between his teammate and Hurricane. Oh dear. Oh dear. He kind of avoided as much as he could, but yeah, like I said, easy to do. I've done it before, including in this round against my own teammate. So he can join the club. Oh, Fancy Locks with a half-second penalty now as well. This is great for Ethan. Ethan started this race incredibly strongly, and Eli in P5 as well looks to set to benefit from that. Yuri on his softs, trying to really desperately to get past Eli. He's gonna have to maybe send it into one of these corners. Eli, like for example that one, Eli left the door wide open for him there. I think I would have absolutely gone for it if I knew that I was on the softer compound. Maybe he doesn't know though. So let's stick with Fancy. Fancy, remember, was our... Oh, what's happening at the front, actually? Pasty's gone for it on Sam. Sam is in P1 now, our champion inheriting P1 on the medium tyres. Pasty on the softs. Pasty's going to get alongside. Let's just see how that half second penalises Fancy. Both Ferraris getting past him. Looks like Yuri's going to get past him as well. But at the front, Pasty and Sam are still side by side. Pasty's got the inside line for the next corner. And he's pretty far ahead at this stage. And yeah, that was a good overtake. Pasty takes the lead. Finally, it's took him 3 laps to do, but he is in the lead on his soft tyres. They do have quite a bit of life left in them, so he's got a good opportunity to build a gap. Remember, some of these are 2-stopping and some of these are 1-stopping. I'm pretty sure Pasty will be one of the 2-stoppers. Sam on it, I don't know what Sam's going to do. Mediums, they're not very worn. You can do medium hard. Maybe he might try medium soft. Some people have been very brave and tried that in this race. Oh, Yuri clatters the wall, avoids damage, goes off track though as a result. Does really well to avoid hitting Eli. Loses 3 positions. He's going to try and keep it against Wack. He's got some good slipstream. Fancy needs to be giving his teammate this slipstream right now. There we go. He's seen what's happening behind him. And now Yuri's trying to hog that slipstream. He's trying to push Wack to the right of the track. And he's going to get, but yeah, just gets muscled out a little bit there. Cherry's going to try and get the position as well. A bit more muscling. And oh, Cherry's off the track. There's something going on behind. Cherry's completely spat it. Oh my god. And I'm pretty sure someone... Oh, and Yuri's been spat. What is going on? Yuri's at the back. Okay, we need to... Let's watch that like this, because someone hit the wall. Oh, it was Spin hit the wall. But that had absolutely no bearing on this incident. And then just a tiny little bump out the corner was enough to spin him around. Horrible, horrible race for the AMG boys. The other one is in P15, trying to take advantage. Oh, he just gets clattered into the wall as well. Right, I did I did say in the sprint race that everyone was racing really well and really clean, and no mistakes were being made, and we're just seeing them all in this sprint and feature race with, oh, just another wild late braking move into that corner. Because everyone's on different tyres and everyone's trying to get past each other and probably let the less opportune overtaking spots. God. Anonymous back up to 11th now. Jezza up to 9th. You'll have to see, he was near the back at the sprint. Fancy 8th, Spin is 7th. Let's have a little look. Eli going incredibly deep for the 2nd lap in a row on that corner. But he is P4. How is Pasty doing? Oh, another penalty. Half second for Pasty. Is that going to be enough for Sam to get the lead back? If it is, this might be enough for Sam to actually hold the lead fully. The F1 line. But F1 doesn't really. Here we go. Here's the half second penalty. That is... It doesn't cost you half a second. It makes you brake for half a second on a straight. It's pretty brutal. Sam's going to be able to not get close enough actually. So Pasty gets a get out of jail free card here. He goes defensive for the corner anyway, and he's going to keep that position comfortably. Now he has to re-establish that lead all over again. Good news for Pasty is there is a lot of mistakes being made down the field, and he's not involved in any of that. So with the clear air ahead, he's got a good opportunity here for really strong results. What's happening a little bit further down? Hurricane's down in 10th. I'm not sure why Hurricane's so low. I can't really remember if we saw it or not. There's been a lot. There's been a lot. And yeah, the AMG boys starting to fall off a little bit. Gunmad on the hards, Yuri on the softs but with damage, so he's speeding the walls once again. Pasty with a half second penalty in the 28s. Sam's also in the 28s, so... Ethan in the 27s. Is anyone in the 26s? I don't think so. Fancy about to get overtaken here by Jezza. Jezza fancying another position. Much better start to this feature race for Jezza on the medium tyres. Oop. Did really well to avoid hitting the wall there. Hurricane is coming through as well. Hurricane backs out of it. Jezza doesn't. He's gone around the outside, and it looks like he's going to get this position on Fancy unless Fancy can do a good switchback, but he gets timing all wrong. This is going to open the door for Hurricane and Anonyma to get past. Anonyma swoops clean through and nearly gets Hurricane. Let's go back. I want to see what Anonyma did. He's just lurking in the background here. What's going on? He's like, I'm just going to take a good line through this corner. Everyone else takes a bit of, well, hugely compromised lines, and Anonyma just manages to muscle his way through. And it's interesting because he made a little bit of contact with Hurricane there on the way through, similar to what happened to, was it Cherry? And Cherry span round, and Hurricane just carried on. So, talking of Cherry, he's catching up to this pack pretty quickly as well with all the battling going on. Jezza at the head of the pack on the mediums. Fancy Locks, our pole sitter, might be regretting starting on the hard tyres because he's lost 10 positions now. Hurricane will be wanting to get past Jezza, especially if he's going a little bit wide there. Good traction on the wider line though from Jezza. And this corner coming up. These are pretty difficult ones for the Gen X. It is a bit of a brick around these kinds of corners. Lots of tyres screeching, no instance though. And Jezza gets a pretty solid exit, but let's see what the slipstream does for Hurricane here. Lapping in the 28 still. So they need to find a bit of time, these guys. They're letting the top guys get away from them pretty quickly, especially considering some of these are going to be two-stopping. Anonyma just in the background as well is going to try the exact same thing. Hurricane goes very defensively. Jezza just completely overshoots, but he gets a huge exit despite that because he gets on the throttle much further down because of where he went deep, and he keeps that position. Hurricane actually loses one to Anonyma. These three separated by absolutely nothing at the moment, nose to tail. Anonyma is going to actually get along on the inside of Jezza. Now he needs to avoid... Oh, there's going to be some contact. Hurricane's gone for it. They actually all somehow make the corner, and Anonyma stays ahead of Hurricane, who's ahead of Jezza. Whew, that's crazy. Great racing, great racing. There's a big gap now to Wack. Wack's pretty much on his own in 7th. Been up in 6th place, by the way. We saw him, well, all we saw of him was him going to the wall before turn 1, before everyone else wiped each other out, and now he's up in 6th. Hard-tired Astro up in 5th. He could be on for another victory here, potentially. Pasty's already in the pit, so he's going to drop all the way back into 16th place there. So that promotes everybody up position. Ethan is Sam's closest challenger here. Sam looks like he's cruising to another victory. This would be his 7th of the season in 16 races, so almost a 50% win rate. Ethan doing very solid job in 2nd. Well, it's a Ferrari 2-3 at the moment. Ethan on the hards, Eli on the mediums. I wonder if they're going to be working together here. Bit of bump drafting, I think, is going to be the order of the day. Astro catching up to these guys. Eli getting that corner a little bit better than Ethan. Ethan keeps it the position for now. Let's see what's going on a little bit further back. Hurricane ahead of Jezza. Anonyma's left this battle a little bit. And we got Cherry, Fancy, Nectar and Nath all pretty close together as well. Pasty. Oh yeah. He's come out on the mediums. He has put in fuel. He's down in 14th. Yuri has also pit, so the two soft runners who were right at the front at the start of the race. Right at the back now. Gunmad is just... Oh, well, it says P, but he definitely did not pit. He's just at the back. So, what's going on? Come on, give us a show. The Ferrari drivers look like they are just comfortable driving nose to tail like that. But Anonyma loses it, but he's got a huge gap to Hurricane. Hurricane's not really dropping Jezza though. So Jezza lost the position, but seems to have good pace still. And Cherry back in the top 10. From down in the doldrums in the sprint race, cut off from the rest of the field. He's finally made his way back into the top 10 in the feature race. We'll be hoping for more Remember, there is still a Constructors title on the line, but it's looking pretty good once again for Team Porsche. Even though Sam's winning, Cherry needs to find maybe 5 or 6 positions, and something has to happen to the Porsches. Something's happening for Astro though. He's lapping pretty quick here, still in the 27s, on the hard tyres as well. Just happy being with your teammate. Yeah, well, I think the Ferrari's a hard car to drive. Like, you either get it or you don't. It looks like you got it on this track, but it is a bit of a handful. I think it must be one of Ethan's best cars. Ethan was in the Jag last season, which is a horrible car, and now he's in Car Motors like it. He's been showing what he's capable of. A lot better this season. Was in Tier 2 the season before as well, got podiums in that Tier 2, but there was a lot of shuffling around in between seasons, which usually happens. Obviously going to happen again. A lot of these guys won't be racing on the same grid next season, but it's good to have a bit of variety in who you're racing as well, which is a good thing about ALR. Every couple of months you change grids completely, you get to change what car you're in as well. A lot of people will be thinking about what the calendar might be looking like. Well, not the Patreons. They got told today. And think about the car selection for next season as well. Astro looking fairly comfortable just being behind the Ferraris at the moment. He's not in any sort of rush to get past. Eli goes a little bit deep. That's opened the door for Astro. Eli gets a better exit, which we've seen happen a few times now. If you go deep in that corner and you're on the outside, got more angle to play with to kind of slingshot yourself back out of trouble, and that's exactly what happened there. Sam's not getting away from them though. Sam has done 5 laps in a row in the 28s on his mediums. They are wearing, but yeah, making little mistakes like that isn't going to help. Ethan, I nearly lost it there. Very easy to do. Like I said, pretty much every corner here is an opportunity to spin the car. Maybe that's changed with the new physics update though, because the stability has improved massively in the most recent physics update. Astro having a little look at Eli here. Eli losing traction. This is allowing Ethan to just get away from this battle a little bit, and Astro is going to send it up the inside. And I think there's nothing Eli is going to be able to do about that one. So, end lap 10, we've got a new top 3, Sam in P1, Ethan in P2, Astro in P3. Hurricane is up into P11, his teammate, who's already pit, is on mediums, and he's caught up to Nath. He's lapping, well, his first lap was in the 27s, this was in the 27s as well on the medium, so alright pace, quicker than the leaders, that's for sure. Nectar gets past Fancy Locks down to 12th, really struggling on his hards. Losing another position there, so starting on the hard seems to have really backfired on a lot of these people. The only people in the, well, I think there's only Astro and Ethan who've actually made the hard tyres work here in P2 and 3, and then everyone else has dropped way outside. Now Eli on his mediums it should still have a bit more grip. He hasn't reached 50% yet on his front tyres. Astro taking these corners well though. Eli's got his windscreen wipers on. Spin, very solid drive here. He's 5th place now, top 5. This would be a great end to the season for Spin. He's had a bit of an up and down season. He's had some really good highs and a few rounds where he's been struggling. The Lambo is super fast in some tracks and one of the more average cars at others. I don't think it's particularly strong around here, to be honest, but he's pulling a good performance out of it nonetheless. Whack racing solidly in the GTR, up in 7th place. Hurricane just solidly in 8th on his mediums, still going. We're starting to see the mediums wear now, so we might start seeing the hard tired cars start making a bit more progress. Cherry still in 10th, trying to hold off Nectar actually. Nectar on the mediums, Cherry on the hards. there shouldn't be too much of a difference between the tyres now. So pace will come into it, outright pace a bit more. Pasti has got past Nath, so let's see where that happened. Into the final corner, he goes for it. These are the kind of overtakes you need to be making when you are doing the two-stop. And Nath doesn't fight it too hard. He knows the different strategies are going to play out slightly differently towards the end of the race, although he's having a little nibble. But he doesn't get the position. So let's go back forward. Astro looks like he went a little bit wide of that corner. Eli pretty close behind again. There's the windscreen wipers wiping away all the rain that you can get at Deep Forest. Astro a little bit deep there. If that corner was a bit bigger, it would have a better opportunity to get the switch back done, but you can't stick your nose in there like that, which isn't what Eli did, by the way, but you just, like, it's just tempting to do when someone goes a little bit deep like that. Ethan's caught up to Sam pretty nicely. Like I said, Sam's been lapping in the 28s, Ethan's lapping in the 27s consistently. So Ethan seems to be the quickest driver on track at the moment. 27.6. Spin has come into the pit, so he's definitely two-stopping there. I don't think he'll be putting on hards to the end. So that'll be an interesting strategy to see how that plays out for Spin. Sorry. There we go. Anonymous slowly catching up to this pack as well. Anonymous on a different strategy to his teammate. He's on the mediums. Astro on the hards. And Astro managing to make his way through the field a bit easier than Anonymous as well. After Anonymous incident that we saw. So this promotes Whack into P6 now. Once again, just like the sprint race, he's just kind of appearing at the front. This time due to different strategies. I think Hurricane's not going to have too many more laps in him. Look at that tyre wear on the front left. Cherry ahead of Nectar now. He's up into 8th place. No, he's kept Nectar behind, sorry. He's up to 8th because of incidents. Pasti's got past Fancy Locks as well at some point. So he's making good progress, but he is still stuck behind a lot of these guys. His last lap was in the 28s, whereas we know his pace is more like the 27s. Now he didn't overtake into this final corner on the previous lap. He's going to do the same. No, Nectar's wise to it. He's going to try and get a slingshot exit. Cherry's going to the pits. Lots of people going into the pits at the end of lap 13 here. Hurricane, Eli, Whack in the pits. Nectar promoted to P5 as a result. The top 4 all staying out. Pasti about to get back into the top 5, but he does a huge updraft, loses loads of speed there. Doesn't get damage. I'm a little bit surprised. Nectar goes incredibly deep into the corner. Pasti gets it all wrong as well. So now it's a drag race between these two cars. Good for Fancy Locks. He keeps them in his sights. Pasti just ahead at the moment. Nectar has to tuck in behind. Now Pasti needs to be careful not to leave the door open. He absolutely doesn't. He defends the inside, hits the apex, and a fairly decent exit. So back into the top 5 for Pasti, and he's got quite a gap now to the top 4, who all have to pit one more time just like Pasti does. So yeah, the strategy's working out fairly decently for him. Spin has come back out and he's on the softs. He's in P8. He's going to catch Fancy Locks pretty quickly here. He's also going purple, so he might actually set the fastest lap of the entire race now. Ethan is the first of the top 4 into the pits. It looks like he's being joined. Is he being joined? He's not being joined. Anonymous, has something happened to him? Something's happened to Anonymous. He dropped a lot of... No, he didn't. I thought something had happened to him, but that was just his normal gap. It's just because other people have pitted that it looks bigger. So, Pasti carries on. Fancy Locks comes in the pits. Nectar carries on. Spin carries on because he has made his pit stop. He does set the fastest lap with a 26.5. Great lap there. Ethan in the pits now. Nath is carrying on. He's going to overtake them all as well. Eli is the leader of the next group, so we'll see where he comes out. Fancy Locks is still putting in fuel, so it looks like Ethan's going to be ahead of Eli. Eli on the hard tyres, so he's going to the end. It's going to be a hard slog. He's getting chased down by Jezza on the softs. Fancy Locks is coming out down in P12, so the Nissan GTR's outside the top 10 at the moment. And Jezza will fancy this position on Eli, I'm sure. Whack on the mediums. Don't think you're going to do mediums to the end. I think he might have to come in again. Hurricane on the softs ahead of Fancy Locks, who's just come out. And Cherry is stuck behind Fancy as well. So we'll see what Cherry can do on his mediums. Fancy's on the mediums as well, so this is similar strategy that they're both on at the moment. And he's gone for it. I don't think he had a choice because he brakes so late, and there's a little bit of contact through the corner, and they're still a little bit side by side. Fancy just backs out of it by the looks of things, and Cherry swoops through and takes P13. Yuri in 14th and Gumad in 15th, pretty much line of stern, quite a way off, nearly spinning as well. Sam is carrying on for another lap. His tyres are completely dead. He's still lapping in the 28s though. Astro's still lapping in the 27s on his hards. The hards definitely stronger than the mediums at this stage of the race. Anonyma on the mediums, lapping in the 28s. So yeah, Astro is the man on form on this current lap. We'll have to be careful with what happens with Sam here, because his I think this might be disconnection for Sam, which is a huge shame. He's gonna probably go straight on here, yeah, into the wall. No power, no brakes, no anything, and he's disappeared from the lead of the race. That would have been a lead. That promotes Team Porsche into a 1-2 position. That absolutely hands Team Porsche the constructors as well. What a way to lose it. Unfortunate for Sam, but he is the champion anyway, so he probably wasn't too upset. Promotes Pasty up into P3. Spin into P4. These two both have to pit again. Nectar hasn't pit at all. He needs to hit his single time. I think that'll be happening at the end of this lap. Astro carrying on once again, just staying out as long as he likes. Anonymous staying out again on the mediums as well. So maybe Anonymous trying the medium soft and Astro trying the hard soft strategy. Potentially. This is going to be a poor lap for Anonymous. He's already in the 29s as well. Pasty's just set at 27, so he's over 2 seconds a lap quicker. Same as Spin. 29 for Nectar, but his tyres are doing better than the Porsches. Quite a bit better as well. Looks like Ethan is lapping pretty quickly as well. Then we got Jezza and Eli. This is difficult to see what's going to happen, because Ethan, who was right at the front, is down in 6th, because he stayed out quite a bit longer. But he's got very fresh mediums still. I don't think he's going to have to pit again. So this might be our net race leader of the drivers who haven't made a pit stop yet. But he'll be pretty slow at the end, surely. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Eli and Jezza look like they're going to have a little ding-dong. Jezza on the hard tyres, Jezza on the softs, Eli on the hards. So this would be an interesting overtake if Eli's able to pull this one off. No. Hurricane needs to be lapping in the 26s on these soft tyres, really. And picking off drivers, because he's going to have to make another stop as well. Astro's in the pits. What's Anonyma going to do? Anonyma goes in the pits as well. Oh, actually he stays out. What the hell was that? What was going on there? He loses... No, he's decided to go in the pits. He cut the line. He didn't want the 3-second penalty, so he's decided to stay out. Even though this is almost in the 1:30 this lap, is he going to be able to survive on these medium tyres for another lap? Let's see how he takes this first corner, then we'll join his teammate, so you see where his teammate slots out. Teammate puts in 60%, he's out on the mediums. Ethan, like I said, is the person that he's having a jostle with. Ethan is going round, excuse me, round the outside now, takes P5 off Astro. And crucially, he's got track position. And he's got a couple laps more worn medium tyres, but it's looking comfortable. for Ethan at the moment. He's got a bit of a gap, which means he's going to have a gap on Anonyma as well. Jezza's not actually that far behind them. Pretty decent drive here from Jezza. He does have to make another pit stop, but this is pretty good pace. What's the situation with Pasty as well? Pasty is another one that has to make another stop. Same as Spin, same as Nectar, who's still out on his first set of tyres as well. Crazy. Nectar's doing really well at those as well. So he's just doing a full tank on them, and he's definitely going to be going on to the softs, isn't he? Astro's got on his mediums. Anonyma is going again. Whoa. This, I don't think this is good. I mean, he's in the 29 still. Actually, it was a couple of tenths better than his previous lap. Spin's coming to the pits for his second stop. Anonyma's not even coming for his first. Nectar finally comes in as well. Pasty has a huge gap to the next driver behind, who's Ethan. He's going to probably lose 2 positions in the pit stops. Captain Eli back up into 5th place as well. He's lost a bit of ground to his teammate who he was racing around with for a while, but still doing pretty solidly. Whack on his mediums as well. I think, is he going to have to make another pit stop? He's got, I don't know. I think maybe he's going to try and make it last, but is it going to work is another question. Hurricane's going to have to come in for a second stop fairly soon. Spin is out on very fresh mediums in P8. Oh, what's happened there? Fancy locks. Fancy lock up. Let's see. Yeah, just a bit too deep on the brakes. Loses the positions. Back in 10th place. Let's see what Anonyma's up to on his almost punctured tyres. He's 2 seconds down. So he's probably still going to do another lap in the 29s, which is crazy with this kind of tyre wear. He's actually making the corners as well. And he's finally coming in. So Pasty, once again, is going to take the lead of the race. By far and away, Pasty's best race of the season. He's not got too long before he makes his pit stop. Ethan is going to swoop through into 2nd place. Lapping in the 26s for Ethan. Astro as well, lapping in the 26s. Eli coming through on his hard tyres. He's looking for 27s here. He's in the 28s. Whack Jamps on his medium should be in mid 27s. So it's going to be between Whack and Anonyma. So Anonyma really needs to get ahead of this pack. There he is. And Whack gets the position fairly easily with how much speed he was carrying. Anonyma's going to have to slot into 6th place on his soft tyres. Let's see how quickly he can dispatch Whack. He's got slightly worn mediums. He has to get him at this corner if he's going to be making this strategy work. He can't be stuck behind on these fresh softs that are going to disintegrate fairly quickly as the laps wear on. Whack's leaving the door open and he's sending it. And a great corner there from Whack. Keeps a lot of speed around the outside, gets that position back. They almost made contact. Maybe they did very slightly, but that was a good bit of overtaking there from Whack. And Anonyma's going to be stuck behind him for a little bit longer. This is bad because Anonyma has been battling with Pasty, who's got clear air. Pasty's in the pits now. He will be joining around about this battle as well. Whack going defensive into the final corner is going to lose them both even more time to Pasty. And Anonyma's going to once again get a really good exit going wide around the corner. Gets that position from Whack fairly easily. Now, it just depends what is happening between Pasty and Anonyma. Pasty is coming out of the pits now. He's got his 49% fuel in. And it's not enough, actually. He's way behind. He's behind his teammate, and he's lost a position out to Spin as well. but he's on the softs, spins on the mediums for the rest of the race. So he's got an opportunity, just like Nonima, of getting a few positions back. So that means Ethan is now our race leader. He's got a good couple of seconds gap to Astro behind. Actually, he's built that gap quite nicely, lapping solidly in the 26.7s and 8s. Astro keeping the pace, but he's not actually going any faster than Ethan at the moment. Eli lapping it solidly in the 28s, needs to find probably a second if he wants to avoid getting caught by Anonyma, who's ahead of Whack and on very fresh softs. He needs to be lapping in the 26s. If he is, he's catching Eli by 2 seconds a lap, which means by lap 23 he'll be all over the back of Eli, trying to get back on that podium. Hurricane just ahead of Spin on a very old softs, really struggling now, probably stayed out a little bit too long, holding up Spin massively. Spin's going to try and go around the outside. Hurricane's surely coming into the pits here. Maybe the wrong strategy choice in the end for Hurricane with how things have panned out. So he's going to drop out the top 10. Spin now with Pasty all over the back of him. So Hurricane actually did Pasty a big favour here. He's got great opportunity of getting past Spin. Spin on the mediums, Pasty on the softs. Pasty is absolutely going for it. And there's not going to be much Spin can do. He keeps it on the track, but he can't keep the position. Pasty up into P6. Now Pasty has Whack in his sights on these soft tyres. How's Anonyma doing? Is he going to go purple? He's already got the fastest lap in that previous lap. He's already a quarter of a second quicker than his previous quickest lap. So this is potentially a 25 lap that we're witnessing here. A 1 minute 25. Yellow flags for who? Who are the yellow flags out for? Who were the yellow flags out for? I'm very confused. Let's go back. Well, he gets through, there's no yellow flags. No, that's a strange little quirk of the game. There is no incident. Oh, it's Yuri. There's the yellow flags. So Yuri's a lap down now. Always weird when someone who's won a race in the same season ends up having a race where he is a full lap down, but yeah, not a great track for the AMG, that's for sure. Astro with a 1 second penalty, that's quite huge. For Ethan especially, I think that it won't penalise him too much. Eli's in the... Oh, what's happened? In the grass. He was on for a really fast lap here as well. On his hard tyres. So this is the F1 line. Great F1 line. Okay, so Anonyma up its P3 with that, and it's looking pretty comfortable for him on the soft tyres. He's just gone quickest again out of everyone, the first one into the 25s in the feature race. Awesome pace there from Anonyma. Maybe could catch one of the top two before the end. Eli still in fourth, still a pretty decent drive here. 2 Ferraris in the top 4, Whack in 5th place ahead of Pasty, who's just ahead of Spin still, so Spin's kept up with him pretty well here. Let's see what's happened a bit further back. We got Cherry coming out in P8, pretty much on his own fancy, ahead of Nectar. Then we got Nathan Hurricane going side by side. Hurricane got that position off of Nath. Hurricane is in the soft tyres as well, so he should be able to drive away from Nath on his hards and Jezza on the mediums. Ethan just about to come up to, I think, Gunmad, that is. Yuri's blue flag distracted you. Okay. Oh, someone span. Who was it? It was... Oh, Spin. No! Not again. Not again. It was going so well. And then... full throttle whilst you're turning too much to the right. and spinning it again, trying to unspin yourself, driving into the path of others. Thank God, even though we have ghosting turned off, that you still get ghosted like that. Otherwise, there'd have been an even bigger incident. Spin down to 10th now. Hurricane might be able to catch him before the end of the race. Spin with loads of damage as well. Going to lose even more time there. Promotes Fancy to 9th, Nectar to 8th. Whack still has Pasty all over the back of it. Pasty's gone for it. Whack's left the door open and... yeah, oh, nearly lost it, but I don't think there's going to be much that Whack can do about that one. So once again, he's had to do it the hard way, has Pasty, but he's in the top 5 again. A little bit further up. There's not much battling going on. All of the cars that are getting lapped look like they're close to people, but they're not actually in the way of anything. So what's happening a bit further back? Nectar and Fancy. Good feature race by the Alpha. He's on the soft tyres as well. And he got a blinding exit from that corner. Left Fancy in the dust there. Spin on a different strategy. Jezza, oh dear. Jezza battling Nath here. Jezza was doing much better in the earlier part of the race. And yeah, just gets a little bit spooked and down into 13th. Whack trying desperately to keep up with Pasty. I don't think it's going to be a successful attempt though. He's got a good gap behind him to Cherry though, so 4 more laps for Whack on medium tyres that are over 50% worn. I think he'll be alright. F1 line. Executed a bit better that time. Nonima dipping into the 26s now. Still 6/10 quicker than Astro, but yeah, the softs not as strong as they were. 27s now for Ethan, but he's got quite a good gap on Astro. Yeah. Not quite sure how he's built that gap. Astro did a lap in the 129, so he had he had his penalty, didn't he? That's what happened. So looking pretty comfortable now for Ethan. He did the undercut, and I thought that he might be getting caught at this stage of the race, but yeah, that penalty has really put an end to the hopes of a Porsche double win in this round. But 4 podiums for Team Porsche in Deep Forest was pretty successful, I think. Eli has been caught by Pasty now. This is softs versus hards. And this section particularly should be quite strong for Pasty. And we know Eli's going to go deep here. Pasty could easily send it down the inside. He decides to go deep as well. Goes for the exit. And he's gone for it. And it looks fairly easy. Not much Eli could do it all there with the tyres and the general engine advantage that Pasty has on that uphill section especially. Eli's got maybe one chance here to get the overtake done once again. He's got good slipstream on Pasty. Pasty said, I'm just going defensive here. You're not getting me at all. Yeah, a little bit too much braking there by Eli. Deprived him of a switchback opportunity. So yeah, I think... well, Pasty's tyres might go off though. He's got 2 more laps. They should be alright. They do go down really fast though. In this feature race, you have 5 times tyre wear in the feature. Going to be the same again next season as well. So, meanwhile, we've got Ethan in P1, looking fairly comfortable ahead of Astro, lapping in the 27s. Even though Astro is in the 26s, it's still fairly comfortable to be another win for Ethan. The top three have all had pretty fantastic seasons, always been at the top, along with Sam. A lot of the other drivers have really struggled to keep these guys behind when they've been coming through, which they've shown again today, all starting pretty far down in the top 10 order and coming through quite nicely. Pasti's best performance of the season, Eli's best potentially since Barcelona right at the start, so ending on a high, which is nice. Whack, everyone expected Whack to be the champion. He was the most predicted by far in Tier 3 of the Predictor Challenge, but hasn't managed to get a win this season in the GTR. Will go again next season. Actually, he's really quick since the physics update. He's quicker than me, so good luck, guys. Cherry, good recovery from, I think he started P12 in the feature, up into 7th. Nectar with a solid top 10. If he can make these softs last, they are looking very dodgy, especially that rear left. So this might be plummet down the order if that actually goes to 0%. Got a lap and a half. Well, he might be able to do it. Fancy might fancy that P8 though. Let's ride on board with Ethan. We're on the final lap now for Ethan, just approaching turn 1. He just has to have a tidy lap and he's won the final race of the season. Yes, Cherry did step up this game a lot after mid-season. He had the pace. I think it was just the consistency and getting those solid results twice in a row, which is very difficult to do in this race, in this league, to be honest. Once you've sussed that out, especially in the car that you've got, can set you in a really good rhythm. So that's what everyone's going to be. Oh, what? Oh, the same things happened. Oh no. On the last lap, a disconnection. That is heartbreaking. Whack, it's up into 5th. The exact same thing as what happened to Sam as well. I don't know what was going on with the lobby. 2 disconnections. So this now is the fight for P7 on the final lap. And Nectar defends pretty well there on his pretty worn tyres. Gets a nice bump through the corner from Fancy, and that gives him about a 2-second gap on him. But let's go back to Ethan, because he's just rounding the final corner now to take another victory in Tier 3, siding off the season really strongly for Team Ferrari. Well done, Ethan. Very well deserved win there. Quite dominant. Astro in P2 in the end. Anonymous in P3. Constructors Championship for Porsche. Pasti with, I think this is going to be his best result of the season, in P4. Yuri is probably out of fuel there. There we go. That was a very poor attempt at spinning over the line. Whack in P5. Cherry in P6. End of the season for these lads. They're trying to get some style points at the end. Fancy 7th. Nectar in 8th place. Spin 9th. Hurricane actually in the top 10 there, despite having the opposite race to his teammate Pasti. Jez is going to come through in 11th. And Nath, the final driver on the lead lap, in 12th. Then you have Gunmad and Yuri, who is doing some donuts to finish off the season, taking the final position. So that's it. Join me in like 20 minutes, because I'm going to be doing the Race of Champions soon. So 3 of these guys, Astro, Anonymous and Sam, are in the Race of Champions, I think, yeah. And they'll be joined by all the quickest drivers from every other tier. We're at Tokyo South, counterclockwise, the best layout in my opinion of Tokyo. So it should be pretty exciting. So yeah, I'm just going to eat probably quickly and set up the lobby.